You know what you should watch if you really are into underdogs winning, not beating your team, but winning?
Yeah.
Well, we've had two NBA playoff games finish so far while we're recording this. Both lower seeds have won. The Nets beat the Sixers, and then just now, minutes ago, the Magic won
What?
104-101 over the Raptors.
Wow.
And I know, Brandon, you're listening. Our third host who's regularly here with us, Brandon Plecker. He and I got into it a week or two ago about the Raptors because I'm a big DeMar DeRozan fan, and he thinks that Kyle Lowry is more consistent in their success. I disagreed. I think that DeRozan is just kind of shut down by LeBron. That's why he doesn't do much in those series. And here I can back it up. In your first game, losing to the lower seed at home, Kyle Lowry through three quarters was 0 of 5 from the field, 0 of 4 from three, 0 of 2 free throws.
Jeez.
He is 0 for every shot he had taken through three quarters, and they lost by 3 at home. Yeah, that's a great leader right there. That's the guy you want leading your team. On the other side of that, Nets Sixers.
Yeah.
I love seeing the Sixers lose.
It's really funny because before we recorded, I had asked you about this, and I said, "Are you shocked by it?" And you said no. You said you weren't shocked, and I was like, "Okay, let's put away the homer factor. Let's put away the fact that you're a Celtics fan, whatever." You really believe that the Sixers aren't? You don't trust the process.
I don't trust the process. That's more than just being a Boston fan. That's just I don't think that they've been built based on what talent can I get? Who's the most talented person I can get right now? Not from a cohesion standpoint. And so in the playoffs now, okay, you got Ben Simmons that just disappears because he can't make any shot outside of 5 feet. No matter how good he passes and dribbles, he can't make a shot. Jimmy Butler is the man, and that was reiterated by their coach after the game. But you're losing, and then Joel Embiid and Amir Johnson checking his phone on the bench at the end of the
Yeah.
game.
What was that, man?
Apparently Johnson's daughter's sick, and that's what he was looking at messages of, checking up on that. But he's just been fined by the team
I
for
mean,
that.
that could be the case, but yeah, it's not a good look, and you gotta understand. Even if it was a serious situation with his daughter, I'm not saying it isn't. You couldn't. I don't know. Can you tell somebody and get off the court because
Mhm.
you're on camera all the time?
The other side of this matchup that makes me not trust the process is D'Angelo Russell is an all-star. He's great. He's really blossomed into his own in Brooklyn, and they can't guard him. There's nobody that's going to guard him consistently for Philly. Who, like, you're going to throw 30-year-old JJ Redick on him? I mean,
Yeah.
come on. I don't think I think the process wins the series, but not easily.
Yeah, I could see just on how, and you had mentioned off mic that you thought that the Nets were hungry and they were primed to knock them off. That they could do it. You're not saying they could, or you're not saying that it will happen, but you wouldn't be surprised if it did, right?
Right.
I would agree. Like Brooklyn came out firing on all cylinders, and I'm along the same lines as you. I never really bought the hype behind the 76ers. I didn't buy it last year, and I don't buy it this year. I think yes, they have talent to win a lot of games, but they don't show up in the playoffs. They never do. I mean, I was not at all impressed by any of this at all. I think the Nets win. I think they win this series.
Oh, well, let's cover the series. We'll start at the one though. We'll loop back around to that.
Okay.
We got Bucks Pistons. It's number 1 and number 8, and I mean the Bucks will win this series.
Oh, yeah.
And it's only happened once, I think, that the one seed loses, and I don't see that happening with the guy who has my vote for MVP and Giannis. Giannis should get the MVP this year, even though James Harden is historically scoring. Giannis is just new and different, and that's what sells. That's what the media likes for the NBA narrative, and he'll be the MVP, and they'll win their first round series against the Pistons.
Okay. I would agree. I feel like some of these. I hate to be that guy, but some of these matchups, when you see a 1 and an 8 seed, you just feel like, yeah, the Bucks got it.
Right. It's either there's a little too many teams that make the NBA playoffs or too many games in the first round. One of those two is correct. Maybe both. We'll figure it out. But next, Raptors Magic. Magic already won game 1 in Toronto. I still think the Raptors are going to win this
Yeah, I
series.
think they rally behind that. I think they'll win. I think. Do you think?
I mean, Kawhi's a Finals
Well,
MVP. He can get through the playoffs.
let,
He
let
can
me
lead a team.
let me walk it back here, back to the Bucks and Pistons. Let's do this. Let's predict how many games.
Okay.
I think this is. I'm gonna say a sweep. I think the Bucks sweep.
Okay. I'll say, Bucks in 5 because Pistons have superior post play. I think with Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond, excuse me, that they can win one game. I'll say Bucks in 5.
Okay.
I'll say Raptors in 5.
I would agree. I think this is the one game they lose.
Yeah.
I think this is enough to smack, wake them up and think, oh yeah, we can handle these guys. We got to do this. So yeah, I agree. 5.
Mm-hmm. Sixers Nets. This will be interesting.
I'm sticking by it. I think the Nets win in 7.
I think the Sixers will win in 7. I think this is going to be the most exciting playoff of the first round in the East. Not overall because the West has great matchups.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Sixers are going to win. I think it's going to be hard. I think they're going to have to really play physical and claw and reach for this series victory. Now we got the Celtics. What's up? The 4 seed. Man, they fell to the 4 seed.
Yeah, what's
my
going
gosh.
on? The East was ripe for the taking, Paul. What happened?
It's all about playing to your peak potential at the right time. And they can do that now, especially, the Pistons, Oladipo's not playing. They're a depleted team, but they still are the 5 seed, which should be respected. And I still say Celtics in 5 just because of overwhelming talent in the rotation that Celtics can use that Indiana really can't compete with in a 7-game series.
I'm going to take the Celtics in 6. I think they might. I think that the Pistons might even steal one in Boston.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that might happen. I agree with you. It seems like I've noticed that the Celtics are one of those teams that like you said, they play well at the right times. They start heating up at the right time towards the end of the season, getting that momentum into the playoffs. And I think they're going to win this. And honestly, I make the joke that, the East was theirs for the taking. It's hard for me to pick against the Celtics to win the East. I have a lot of confidence in that team. And I'm not just saying that because you're my friend and you're my co-host.
No, Bucks are good, Raptors are good, but any team against the Celtics, it is hard. Yeah, and that's me being a homer.
Especially in Boston. So.
Right. All right, let's go to the West. Warriors, Clippers. I saw that the Clippers, according to Vegas, are the largest underdog in an NBA first-round series in like 30 years. Correctly.
Yes. Oh, man. I hate this so much. I hate the Warriors. They are the evil empire. And honestly, I don't see them. I see them going to the championship.
Oh, well.
You don't think that they're going to make it?
Well, we'll see. How many games do you think this will be? What do you think this will be? For Warriors, Clippers.
Sweep.
I say 5 because I think the Clippers can take 1. In LA, they're a scrappy team. They play hard. Steve Ballmer is fun to watch. And he gets so into it. I think the Warriors will win in 5.
I do think that it's such a weird occurrence to see the Clippers in the playoffs more than the Lakers in the last few years.
The Lakers haven't made the playoffs in 6 seasons, and before that, they had missed 5 playoffs total.
Yeah. Remember when
That's awesome.
Remember when everybody always make fun of the Clippers, and they're the better franchise in LA the last few years?
They're the better run franchise. They're the franchise with the better future, no matter if you have LeBron or not. Like, you can't tell me LA has a brighter future right now. Or, excuse me, you can't tell me the Lakers have a better future than the Clippers.
Oh, we'll get
with
to
LeBron.
LA. We'll get to the Lakers later, because yikes.
Wow, yeah. Okay. Nuggets, Spurs. Number 2 Nuggets.
Yeah, that surprised me that they got the 2nd seed. It's
Monte Morris, possible 6th man of the year, playing for the Nuggets.
I don't want to, take away for what the Nuggets have done, but man, is it hard to pick against Pop in the playoffs. And I think the Spurs win, and I think they win in 7.
I really like your thinking here. I think the Spurs are going to win the series as well. I think that they're crafty. They have more of a veteran presence with LaMarcus Aldridge and DeRozan. I think the Spurs can win, and I think it'll be 6.
Wow.
I think the
6?
Spurs win at 6. Yeah.
Ooh.
Then the number 3 Blazers, number 6 Thunder. I got another upset.
You think the Thunder, huh?
Oh yeah, Thunder. I want this to go 7. I'm gonna say Thunder in 7. I think the Thunder will win either way, but I want it to go 7.
I hate to be this guy because I used to say that Portland was my favorite team because I don't really have one, and then I moved to Des Moines and I guess I just adopted the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing. They're not in the playoffs. I gotta say, this is what is frustrating. I want Portland to do well, but here's the problem: they get stuck with the shaft. They get stuck being in the West, and the West just has so many good teams that they seem like they get buried early on in the playoffs. And I think that trend continues. I think the Thunder win, but I think they win in. I'll. This is a crazy prediction. I think the Thunder sweeps.
Wow.
That's just how Portland is in the playoffs.
That's kind of bold. All right, final West matchup: Rockets and Jazz. 4-5. I got the Rockets. Rockets in 5.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Jazz are a tough team, but I don't think that they have the offensive firepower to really fight with James Harden.
Let me ask you this. Do you think the Rockets, this is the year that the Rockets dethrone the Warriors?
Maybe. Probably not.
I'm going to say no.
I don't think so. I see the Warriors making the finals.
I cannot, even though I have the Thunder winning in a sweep, it's after that, I don't think they win again. And it's the same thing with the Rockets. I hate to always compare these two guys, but it always seems that way. It seems Westbrook and Harden play so hard and play so well in the regular season, and then they disappear in the playoffs.
Well, the problem for us is based on how the NBA seeds their playoffs and what we think will happen, Rockets-Warriors is going to be a second-round matchup because it's a set playoff. It doesn't reseed at all. So 4-5 winner meets 1-8 winner. And that's just how it works. So unfortunately, we would have Rockets-Warriors instead of like Warriors-Spurs, and then you can have the Thunder and Rockets duke it out to see who faces the Warriors.
So you seem pretty upset by that. Like you want to reseed after a first round?
We could I think reseeding after the first round or just having a 1 through 16 seeded playoff would be
for both East and West?
Yeah, you just combine them.
I don't know.
And so you could be playing a Western team in the first round.
So but do you do what you do now where you make sure that you distribute 8 teams from the East, 8 teams from the West?
No. Just take the best 16 teams.
Then you're just going to have the West in the championship every year.
No, you're not. Take the best 16 teams. You take the best 16 teams, you seed them by record, no matter what conference, and the number 1 seed overall would be the Bucks. Bucks have the best record in the league. It would be the Bucks, and then the Warriors, and then the Raptors, and then I think the Nuggets.
So that way you would get a traditional East-West matchup.
So, I mean, you still set up a bracket like you do any particular way. So it's set up for number 1 and number 2 to still face each other, which would have been this year Bucks and Warriors. I mean, if it goes that way. But we should actually, I might come next week with what it would look like if it was just 1 through 16.
You going to do a 3 for 3 for me?
Maybe. But I think even after the first round, if we reseed it, or if you give the first round just like a 5-game series, something needs to be done so that the first round isn't 2 weeks of ugh. There's some exciting matchups, but overall, we're overlooking the first round and the second round.
Even today, as we recorded, there was 2 upsets already.
Right.
So I don't know about that. Here's the problem I run into with a reseed. No other sport does that. No other sport seems to have this problem with reseeding. Even March Madness doesn't have a problem with reseeding. Why would it change? Why does it have to change for the NBA?
The NFL's playoff is a fluid system.
You're saying less teams?
No, it's fluid. Like the lowest remaining seed plays highest remaining seed after the first round. Like you're not set. Like the winner of this game, like the winner of the 3 versus 6 matchup. Right.
And then the winner, so then a 3 is playing.
So 6 is guaranteed to play number 1 if they win. Like it's fluid. So you're not set. Like, why can't the NBA have something like that?
Yeah, but there's still a fixed. So you're saying just change the system in and of itself?
Okay, let me ask you something. Would you be more interested in a Warriors Spurs and Thunder Rockets semifinals, and then winner of Thunder Rockets versus Warriors, or Rockets Warriors versus Thunder Spurs, and what comes from that? Because if you reseed the West after the first round, if you make it like the NFL does and have lowest remaining seed play highest remaining seed, based on what we think, it would be Spurs Warriors and then Thunder Rockets, which I would rather have.
You make a solid point.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, shut up. I hate telling you when you're right.
Well, it's hard. It's going to be hard for the NBA. I know that Adam Silver, no matter what he says and how exciting he says it'll be, they're definitely worried. This is the first postseason in I think like 14 years without LeBron since like 2005, and that's going to affect ratings no matter what.
But I think that yeah, it does, because he is the NBA. Whether you like him or you hate him, people hate watch. They want to see LeBron lose, things like that.
I think he's the most recognizable athlete on the planet.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. But I understand losing him is going to hurt. But, I mean, on the flip side of that, for the first time in 4 years, it's not going to be Cavs Warriors in the championship. It could still be the Warriors, but at least they'll have a different challenger from the East. It's not the same. I think that helps a lot. I don't know if that necessarily changes the entire landscape. But if we go 1-16 without conference champions, I just don't know how that would work. What if you get, because people are going to complain about it if you get like 2 West teams.
Okay, and you're going to complain about it if you think like the 2 best teams, like what last year or 2 years ago, the 2 best teams were considered the Rockets and the Warriors as it was, not the Cavs.
Yeah, and then they in the Western Championship, and everybody felt like that was the real finals kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, so that happens no matter what. That's a possibility for you to say, oh, the best 2 teams are in this conference, and then that reignites the debate on either side.
I think it's maybe I'm just so my brain isn't prepared for the change. I'm so used to this is how it is. This is how the system works. And maybe you're right.
It honestly wouldn't be too much of a change. It would still probably be the Bucks and the Pistons playing each other in the first round, the Warriors and the Clippers playing each other in the first round.
But why is it? Goes back to the beginning. Why is it always the NBA that has the issues with the playoffs? You don't hear this complaint with the NHL during the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Because the NBA has 30 teams and they let 16 make the playoffs. They dip too deep because the money is too much for more first round games. And there should not be 8 teams in both. There should be 6 teams. From each,
and do like the NFL with the bye week and then the wild cards.
Well, you can't do. You can't.
Because if you do 12 from 30,
if you do 12 and seed it 1 through 12. But no, I think that there's teams like. Do you honestly believe
the NFL? They have 32 teams and they only let 12 in the playoffs.
So I'm just gonna grab what I think are the 4 weakest teams in this. That's Pistons, Magic, Clippers, Spurs. Oh wait. The 8 and 7 in both conferences.
Oh my god!
So, do we think that any of those 4 teams have a legit chance to win this title? No, we don't. And so, why are they here? They're here for the money. They're here for more TV.
But upsets do happen.
Yeah, in March Madness, not 7-game series.
So, like you were saying, you still think that the Nets aren't going to win. You still think that the Raptors are going to win.
I didn't say the Nets. I said Pistons and Magic were the two teams that wouldn't make the playoffs if we put it down to 6.
I don't think anybody would miss them really.
Exactly. Spurs are going to put up a fight, but Clippers against Warriors, no, and that's just kind of matchup. You're playing the Warriors, but
true.
I don't think we would miss the 2 lowest seeds in either of these conferences.
I'd also like to point out that I have the Celtics and the Warriors in the championship. I think that's where it's going to be, and I think that the Warriors are going to do what they do every single year. It seems like. I think they're going to win 12 games and get into the championship. I don't see them losing a game.
Well, you have to win 12 games to get to the championship.
You know what I mean? They sweep every round is what I meant to say.
Okay. So 12-0.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to refer to the was it last year or the year before they went 12-0? Or did they go 12-0 both years?
I'm not sure.
Remember.
I saw another idea for a cool playoff on Twitter. It was a 4-team playoff for the number 1 seed. Single elimination. 4 worst teams play each other with something on the line. I think it would actually be interesting, and I would definitely watch that. I don't watch the draft lottery, but I would watch that. Have that going instead of the first round.
That does seem interesting. That's a lot of
Suns.
stakes to
It'd
it.
be Suns, Bulls, Knicks, and I can't think of the Lakers. No, not the Lakers.
Mm.
Suns, Bulls, Knicks, and somebody else would be playing. And you can do it like a weekend, like round robin style. Play
Sure.
each team plays like 2 games.
And you could do it like you could if you really wanted to. I know it would be adding to the season and making it even longer. But if you wanted to take a week, like a extra few days off for the championship teams before they get to the finals and they play each other, you could play those games in between a few days
Right.
and kind of do like what the NFL does with the Pro Bowl, have that in between the Super Bowl.
But nobody watches the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, but this would be different because
This would be
this is
different.
playing for a pick.
Yeah, there's actually something on the line.
Right, there's actual stakes to it.
Well, I'd watch it either way, but that's just because I love the NBA. But I think it would be an
I would
interesting
watch it.
idea.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be super cool. There would be more at stake than the first round.